In section 2.2, we learned the intuitive definition of left-hand limit and definition of right-hand limit. Now we have the precise definition of left-hand limit and right-hand limit in this section. And now let's do some example. Example number 3, we want to prove that the limit of square root of x when x approaches to 0 on the right side equal to 0. So we will use the definition of the right-hand limit because we have that x approaches to a number on the right-hand side. So let's find out L. This is L, right? This is L. This is f of x. And this is A. So basically we have two steps. Step number 1 is we find delta. And step number 2 is we want to check. We plug in the delta to see if it works. And of course we will use this sentence, okay? So first of all, step number 1, we want to show that if we have 0 less than x less than 0 plus delta, I'm using this sentence, then the distance from f of x, which is square root of x minus L minus 0 less than epsilon. And of course we will work on this part. And our goal, let's write out our goal. Our goal is to make x appear, okay? So x less than delta. So we will compare the right-hand side with the right-hand side from yellow statement. So now let's work on the yellow statement. Okay, so we have the square root minus 0 is square root of x less than epsilon. So what I'm going to do is, this is the same thing as square root of x less than epsilon. So what I'm going to do is I want to get x, okay? So we know that the epsilon is positive, okay? So we can square both sides. So square root of x and epsilon square. We're going to square both sides so we get x less than epsilon square. So what can we say is that now we have x. This is what we want. So we can say now in step number 2, we can say that we're going to check to see if it works. So in step number 2, we're going to say we're going to choose delta equal epsilon square. Okay. And given that epsilon is a positive number, then we copy that statement one more time, the definition one more time. So we copy that down, okay? So if 0 less than x less than 0 plus delta, so I'm going to make it simplify. So I'm going to write delta only, okay? Delta, then the absolute value of square root of x minus 0 equal. So we don't write out epsilon yet. So in this case, we're going to try to do some algebra so that at the end, we will end up with the epsilon. Okay? So we will base on the if. Now, continue, right? So we have absolute value of x minus 0 is equal to absolute value of x, square root of x. And what do we say about the x? So we have x less than delta, so square root of x less than square root of delta. Okay? So it will be less than square root of delta. So in this step, we base on this and try to get the epsilon at the end. And we chose delta to be epsilon square. So let's replace square root of epsilon square, and that's equal to epsilon. Okay, so basically we have like a two steps. Step number one, we want to choose delta, and after we finish choosing delta, we check to see if it works. Then we can say that the limit of x approach to 0 on the plus side, on the right side of square root of x equal to 0.